Hello everyone again, and welcome back to Terrascal Bricks. We are continuing on from our existing bag, second box of sorting. And if you all remember, this one has not been as clean or as is more filled with other objects than the last one is. But again, still not my worst that I have seen yet. We'll still see what we can find as we go along, and we'll see how this goes. I've also realized in the last few videos that I'm not getting things as good with regards to what's in my hand, focusing. I'm hoping that the camera will do a little bit better this time as a result of moving it around and adjusting it. Anyway, I don't know if you can see on this piece, we can see that there's some black marks and things along that nature on the edges. Also a little bit of edge deformation, but nothing that shouldn't be able to be come out in the wash, and it should be recoverable. Not entirely sure that's a Lego tire. We'll put that to the side in our check brick link pile. But we'll keep going. There's another K'NEX bar that definitely needs to go in that box, as does this other one that we found out. Oh, I see, look here. This one almost got us too. There is no Lego marking whatsoever on the pin of that. The thickness of the clip is also a little off, but this is not a Lego, nor is it marked with any brand. But if it's not marked on the stud, then it is not a Lego. So we're gonna throw that over here. Again, the other reason we do this sorting isn't necessarily to filter, but also to separate pieces out as much as possible, as much as reasonable. There are certain things I don't separate anymore that I used to, just because they normally are included together anyway. So I've stopped sorting those or separating those out. This piece is almost, but it's not the worst I've seen, so we'll keep with it. Look at tissue, or at least a piece of a tissue. Again, not the grossest thing I've seen in here. That'll go in the trash pile. Oh, I almost didn't separate those. Goodness. Definitely dirtier. Yeah. Piece of notebook page. Sometimes, if you'll notice, I'm also sorting, multiple at a time. When they're with smaller, loose pieces like this, to save on some time, because again, this is a time-consuming process. Usually, I will filter if anything does get missed. There's another hair. If anything does get missed, typically is then caught in the wash process. So yeah, I just lost a couple pieces in there from my hand. That's the downside to doing the small pieces, multiples at a time in the hand. Also, I have received the majority of my remaining order. I am now at a total of, if we include the last box, the one we've already did, and then this one. I'm a total of 38 boxes now. I've just gotten recently. I found a really good location. They're harder to find nowadays because lots of other people are doing this too as a bead. So it's getting harder and harder to find good deals on blocks. There's a piece of tape on the outside of that one. We'll get that in the wash process. And unfortunately, it looks as if other people have now found, I don't think this is Lego, but look how similar. It's not exact. There's this turn piece, bend piece, whatever you want to call it. It's missing. There's usually a bar on the inside of these for Lego, but it also doesn't have any markings on the stud. Neither does the piece it was attached to. Underneath, usually Lego puts their trademark underneath there. So, but as I was saying, I had only discovered this page. Goodness, I almost don't want to keep this, but again, the clips are functional, and technically the pins. It's a little melted, but doesn't look great. But it should be covered, and it would look fine out there. Anyway, I only had a few days. See, here we got a broken pin, right? You can tell it's broken. So we will not keep this. This will get trashed. And other people have discovered the source that I was getting these from recently, and so I will, which is fine because you got to do these in spurts, you know, unless you have unlimited money in the world, you know, and that's not an issue. And no, there's time, of course. You can buy as many as you want off of eBay or other locations. You know, I've even at one point I saw some on Craigslist and went and picked up locally, but that's a lot more rare. And you know, Craigslist being Craigslist, who do you trust, who you're going to see, and all that stuff. So I just stick with eBay right now. But this sort of attaining bricks and boxes like this, and then sorting, cleaning, and then potentially reselling afterward, it happens in spurts. Mostly because of the fact that supply makes a difference, plus pricing, plus sources. Good sources tend to get, you know, they may get have good prices and whatnot on their products, but then other people find that out, and then you know how that goes. They're outbidding you, you know, for more than what you're willing to pay. And again, if money's not a limit, then it doesn't matter, but that is not true in my case for sure. And then on top of that, time, right? I only have so much time to be able to get these things in and out. And space, you know, that's another issue, right? You have to have space to be able to hold on to these and store these. And you saw in the tour the size of my office. It's not very big. In fact, I wasn't even able to get all the boxes in the room right now while I'm sitting here doing this. Now, as I sort these bricks out and open boxes up, the space limitations will gradually decline. But this is about right for what I have here. This piece of tape. So yeah, that one's way too bad and deformed. I don't know if you can see that, but again, I'm trying to look at edited videos, and I don't know what opinions will be out there until I actually post these videos, these first few. But this brick is heavily damaged, so this one will get trashed. Yeah, and you know, there's only so much my wife will tolerate as well. She's got her projects, I've got my projects. can't spend all my money on my projects. It's not fair to her. So she's been very tolerant of me with these, and I thank her for that. And hopefully, as a result of this YouTube thing, this thing takes off, then it'll prove to be even more beneficial. But you can see this Technic pin here is squished. Somebody completely flattened this, ran it over with something heavy. And from the side, you can see it's pretty badly damaged. Anyway, that's obviously unusable, unrecoverable. I don't know of anybody who can repair that. God, man. Some of these pieces are just beat, but it's still usable. Still usable despite some of those teeth marks on the edges and scratches. One of the things I was thinking of as a talking point during this is some of the stories some of these can tell sometimes. And I know that's odd to say because you're getting Legos in bulk, but depending upon the source and the timing, you can sometimes figure some things out about who the original owner was of the pieces. And I'll give some examples. Obviously, you get a lot of superhero type smaller sets, things along that nature. And you're typically dealing with a child. You can get some adult sets. You're dealing with an adult. Most of the time. Obviously, these are stipulations, but not always 100% right. There was one, though. One of my first batches that I've done. And I determined, here we go, got a skeleton leg with another broken clip. And I mean, even if I were to find the other, the small portion of the clip that goes here, this would be, it would not recover well, it wouldn't hold. So trash it goes. But as I was saying, I found a batch of Legos from a certain Goodwill store. They all came in at once. Broken Technic piece. Again, I'm gonna trash this. It's not really recoverable, and you get so many of these. You can trash these. I don't think this is a Lego helmet. They usually, well, they do sometimes put things at the top of their helmet. It sure does kind of look like it does Magneto's helmet. And I guess they couldn't have I'll have to save this for Bricklink. Possibly they had nowhere to put the logo on this one. Usually you'll find it, if there's a stud on top, you'll find it on the stud on top, but sometimes you'll find it on the inside at the bottom there. So yeah, I was looking at a Goodwill store, and I bought a bunch of boxes all at once from them. And you could tell, based upon the findings of the pieces and the types of sets that were kind of getting outputted, that it was the same person who had donated them to the store. And I found it interesting because I felt like they were my age. And the reason I say that is because a lot of the parts and pieces were from the 80s at first. And then it gradually went into the 90s. And then there were some newer sets, but it kind of stopped and petered out at maybe the 2009, 2010 era. And again, you can tell that based upon what pieces you're getting and what sets they belong to on Bricklink. Bricklink, again, is a very useful resource when it comes to identifying pieces and what sets they go to. And so as I was going through the boxes, it was like telling a story or hearing a story. The kid, like me, growing up, started out with some smaller 80s space sets and some pirate theme and castle sets. And these hairs, It'll just keep coming out. And then, you know, gradually grew up, changed their tastes, started getting into the Aqua Zone, you know, the later sets of the Aqua Zone, and a few of the other sets around that era. Space Police, well, Space Police was probably late 80s, early 90s, but yeah, and so what was even nicer about that, I have to say, this is a bead, so trash. I'm not even gonna throw the bead. Well, okay, bead can go into Goodwill, but I doubt anybody will do anything with it. But what was nice about that is a lot of the pieces he had were parts of those missing sets that of I had as I was growing up. So it was really neat to see some of the same sets that I was used to having in there. You know, in some cases, whole. They weren't all put together, don't get me wrong. You rarely ever find that. Again, a very badly damaged 2x1 tile. I was just going to throw this away. But, you know, it's just neat. It was beneficial, obviously, because it helped me backfill my older sets. And some of those I'm going to show you on this channel at some point, because I do think some of those are really neat, how times have changed and whatnot. But yeah, it was, I just felt like whoever that person was, you know, I had a thing in common with them, right? And that's all, something we all like to do when we're trying to find friends or groups that we're interested in. I mean, most of the time, I mean, that's pretty much probably why you're here. Why you're here. This looks like a piece of the watch, which I did not have finished. I'm gonna put that over there with the watch pieces. But anyway, you know, kind of neat in my opinion. Maybe you won't find it so interesting or whatnot, but yeah, it was one of my first bought batches that I had gone through, and that was probably 3 or 4 years ago now. See here, I don't know if you could tell, but here we have no logo on the studs, and otherwise you would almost think that's exactly a Lego piece. And that's what I'm talking about those 3D printer, smaller printer companies that just imitate existing design. And again, you could tell it's also, I can tell you why it's also not Legos, because there's a little indent at the bottom at the back of this. Hopefully you can see that. And Lego doesn't do that on these pieces. They do it on tile pieces, but they don't do it on these pieces. So, some more tape. Some more tube of some sort. Trash. You know, other stories you'll get are, depending upon if you can recognize it's coming from the same group of people, if you get them in groups, but even within the same box, you'll recognize certain things, like somebody obviously had a lot more Mega Blocks or some other pieces. This is hard. Yeah, I'm not even gonna, I would hope that you, from the camera, if you can't tell from the camera, then I really need to do something different about my camera setup. And I'm going to try my best to improve that as time goes on. But, yeah, I mean, even within the same box, as long as it wasn't mixing together. I don't know if you saw that on that piece or not. I should have said something. It has a whiteout on it. That'll come off in the wash process. Sometimes you can tell, obviously, if it was more a girl or a boy versus a boy, depending upon the types of sets. Depending upon the preference. Also, other toys within the box. Because sometimes you will find that there's more than just bricks in here as well. I found Transformers. I found G.I. Joes. I found Scrabble pieces. You know, pieces from Battleship. The list goes on and on. Here's another squished Technic piece. whoever had this one definitely was not kind, or either that or an animal. You know, an animal or a little kid managed to get these and chewed on them and broke that down like that. Oh, I need to take that piece back. And it's a good thing I saw where that fell. Look at, no stud markings on any of these. And that's what I'm trying to catch. And I'm not so good sometimes. You know, sometimes I can fly through these things. For your benefit, I'm going a little slower. Just so hopefully you can see what I'm seeing. That's a broken piece of plastic. That's a twisty tie. But yeah, you'll find all sorts of other toys in here, and you know they'll tell you what kind of person. You know, you just guess. Sometimes you make up the stories. You can't just read the stories. Sometimes you make them up. And you know, you feel like a mom came through and stepped on the last Lego on a Lego for the last time, and you know was like, I'm getting rid of these, and gathers all the toys. It didn't matter what got caught up in that, you know, or you know, somebody just outgrew the toys, outgrew the Legos. It happens. I'd even admit it happened to me for a little while. Well, here we go with another non-marked stud brick. But there was one thing I need to take care of here. So I got to use my handy axle to push that other axle through. And here we have a really badly broken Technic piece. You can see it from the edge there. So we're gonna put that in the trash pile. I don't keep pieces like that. I mean, again, unless it's really obvious they could be easily repaired, there's just no point. So some other things you'll want to have when you're doing this is decent lighting. My room, this office doesn't have the best lighting. That's why I had to supplement it with an LED stand light. I even have an additional light on top of that if my eyes start getting a little too bugged, that I haven't turned on yet, but I can. So good lighting is necessary. Sometimes a magnifying glass, just because the logo can be hidden on most Lego pieces. Some pieces don't have it, you know, but it'll be very obvious that there was just no place to put it. That 2x2 or 2x1 plate. I'm gonna see if I can wash it and get it a little shinier than what it is, but I mean look at somebody's drew something on the bottom of this. We'll see if that comes out. 2 dots of some sort. But yeah, you gotta have good lighting. Sometimes a magnifying glass to be able to see the logo. But you know, as you do this, it becomes easier to identify pieces just based upon shape, style, and you know, if you've looked them up before, and obviously you know they turned out to be a Lego piece and whatnot. Bricklink verifies that. Here we go, another no logoed studs. But then obviously, you know, at that point, anytime after that piece is yes, indeed Lego. Here we go. No more. No Lego marked studs. So our last bag, and our last box, if you want to call it, the bag in the box, we'll just say that, did not have barely any rejects of anything, you know, non-Lego or trash. This one is beating it by a long shot. That pin was fine on one side, but on this side is squished, so trash. But this is what you get. You take a chance. You can't always tell. You know, the pictures on eBay don't do it justice. That's why we're doing what we're doing. We're sorting, we're filtering, we're sorting. We're gonna clean and then sort one last time after that. And then at that point, you can decide what you want to do with the pieces you have, or sort them further based upon what purpose you have for your pieces. But, you know, this still isn't a total loss, or in any case, you know, whatsoever, even with this a staple in that piece. Another hair. But, this piece is this Technic pin, again, squished, trash. Yeah, not a total loss at all. You know, there's still some good pieces in here. And very usable pieces. Like I said, there's some tricks to using some of the pieces that don't look so good, or won't look so good even after the cleaning process, as long as they're functional. Because functionality, I don't know if I can stress this enough. You'll hear me probably say it many more times. Functionality is key. Yeah, I'm gonna chuck this 2x1 plate just because its ridges have gotten too bad. In my opinion, the teeth marks on the side are pretty bad. You can hide hair, girl hair. You can hide those pieces within builds and things along that nature. Obviously, if you're using them for a set, like if you're trying to build a set that pre-exists, you typically want to go, unless it's hidden and you already know that up front, you typically want to go good condition or better. However, with builds, you do have different options based upon if the piece is shown visible, which part of it's visible, etc. There we go, another no studded piece with no Lego logo. No studded. It was studded, it just didn't have any logo on the studs. You'll quickly find that my words don't always come to me very well. It didn't always used to be like that. I used to be actually very good at my vocabulary and how I spoke, but you know, certain things happen in my life, medical things that have changed my brain. We'll just leave it at that for now. So, you know, other things you can tell, obviously from, yeah, I'm gonna trash this piece. That's pretty bad on that one edge. Other things you can tell from Legos that you get is kind of what era they're from, right? The bright colors were not really a thing from back in the 80s, from the era that I grew up in, like this pink. You would not have found that really back then. So they indicate more as to what era those are from. You know, this is definitely a Minecraft bow. Again, you just learn that from recognizing the sets, or if you've played the game, but you know, from the sets. So you know that's definitely more recent. Very bad piece here. That's going in the trash. My trash pile is getting to be somewhat large for a trash pile. Although again, still not my worst. Maybe at some point I can identify that for you guys. This is supposed to be a utility belt that is worn by minifigures. And as you can see, somebody's severely bent it. Now I could bend it back like so. And maybe we can straighten this out a little bit by keeping it on a flat minifigure for a period of time. Maybe it'll still be useful. So I'm gonna keep this one. But if I had not been able to bend that and it cracked, that would have been trash for sure. I still haven't decided yet if I'm going to do some of this as a time lapse, and by time lapse I mean fast forwarding, not skipping, because it depends upon how entertained you are, and that's what matters, right? Because it could be that this is just gonna be too. So is this plastic or glue? No, it's just plastic. Okay, good. It could be that you're more than entertained by me showing every single brick movement and piece and everything else. Could also be that you find me extremely annoying when I talk and hate it and like the fast forward portion for that reason. Who knows? I won't, at least not until this gets viewed a number of times and some of the comments come back. But until then, I'm going to stick with what I have, and until they tell me otherwise, you tell me otherwise, that's how I'm going to keep it. And this is not going to be everything we're going to be doing here, just FYI. I'm starting with this because I already had a load of Legos ordered off eBay, and I figured it'd be a good learning process for everyone and how this works, what happens, and, you know, so even for your personal collections at home, even if you're not ordering them off eBay, you can figure out how to sort these and then wash them, clean them safely. And that's the thing I figured I'd start off with, was sorting and cleaning. Then we'll look into dusting models. What I find to work well in those cases, what I have encountered in the past, what you have to be careful of. We'll get into all that. I just don't know when. That's the portion I've got to figure out another bead. And that's because, you know, if this is really well liked, I will stick with this for a while. I've got plenty of boxes to do that with. If this is boring, or, you know, you want me to just mix it up, then I can start cleaning some of these, then go back to sorting, then cleaning, then sorting, but, you know, etc. But I won't know that until it's a damaged Technic pin again. So we're gonna just make this trash. So but once I start getting some feedback from you guys, I can determine a path forward. Hopefully you will like it just as much as I do. I mean, I'm not just here for learning. It's also for enjoyment for everyone involved. I have some other ideas for the channel a little bit later on, but I got to take care of this first in some aspects to get to that point, because I don't have the room. Right? Now look at this. This is exactly what I'm talking about. If it wasn't for the fact that there were no Lego logo on these studs, you would say those are Lego pieces almost. The colors are pretty correct. The shape is all fairly correct. Even on this little, you know, tooth Lego, you know, some of the more complicated ones, is just getting amazing troublesome for us to figure out if these are legitimate or not, because they're getting so good at mimicking existing pieces. And the only way I know this isn't just saying this particular group of Legos, the only way I know it's not legitimate is because it doesn't have the Lego logo on it. Otherwise, I'd almost have thrown it in there, because I would have shape, color, everything looks about right. There might be some small small differences, and maybe because there's no dot there on this side, but otherwise you would have thought that this was completely legitimate, and it's not. And those are the kind of things that irritate me a little more. Again, it's a personal thing. Not saying somebody used whiteout on here and drew eyes. You get the whiteout on top of the whiteout with pen. But that should come off in cleaning. It might be a little more difficult to get out, but it will. Yeah, I find personally, I find it a little upsetting that, you know, I get it. You're trying to find a cheaper alternative to Lego, you know, in certain cases. But if you're going to do that, do your own design. You can still do that. Don't just take what's already there. I know some people don't care about that, so we'll drop it. Leave it at that. Another non-Lego. No markings on the studs. This is some form of piece of wood. Maybe a puzzle? Maybe it was a puzzle that was designed this way. But it almost looks like a Minecraft tree top, doesn't it? Maybe somebody created this as an outline, never finished building it or been painting it. I don't know. Well, either way, not what we're looking for. So we'll throw it in that box over there. Maybe somebody can find use for it. I won't throw that away. Not sure this is a wheel, Lego wheel. I only say that because it doesn't look right. It just doesn't look right. What I'll try doing is I'll try finding a Technic pin, seeing if it snaps into there. If it does, at least I know it functions like oh, there's another. And then at that point, it'll get placed. Here we go. It'll get placed. Yeah, see this doesn't even work on a pin. Doesn't stay on, doesn't fit right. So this is not a Lego. Piece of straw tubing. We're getting all sorts of things in this bag, aren't we? Another funny thing when you're sorting is oftentimes, let's save this one. Oftentimes you'll get some smells out of the bag, and so far, thank goodness, nothing horrific like puke or nothing like that. That would just be, that'd be gross. Not sure I can go through that, but you can find, like, you know, it smells like, this is not Lego, no Lego branded studs. Looks a little odd too on the one stud. But like, you can tell what they use for their laundry, dryer sheet wise and whatnot. You know, hey, that's Irish Spring. Hey, that's Febreze. You know, you can recognize like what kind of carpet cleaner they used or whatnot, based upon the smell of the Legos. It's pretty funny, right? You wouldn't think that would be the case, but plastic can hold a smell too. Oh, and that leads me to the next item is, see, somebody's drew on the face of these two blocks, and that should come off in the wash process, so we'll keep them. But that leads me to the other point is then you sometimes run into, you know, if the person smoked or if they had parents who smoked, and then the pieces will be all, they will look a little off, you know, almost like sun deformation, but not the exact same, because they'll also be extremely sticky. I think that's hair off of a Lego head, like a what do they call it? Pony, well, maybe a ponytail, but pigtail. Yeah, that's it. So we'll put this over in the bricklink pile to verify later. But yeah, so you know, those are actually more of a pain to clean. surprisingly. I mean, maybe that's not surprising, but no stud, no logoed studs. Yeah, smokers, pieces from smokers, they'll smell like it, and then they will be sticky. The tar and the smoke gets everywhere. So I'm not a fan of that. I personally do not smoke. I already have enough health issues as it is. I don't need any more. One and two, I don't agree with it. But again, not here to discuss those things. An Allen wrench. Yeah. Anyone want a tool? Maybe that was for an erector set, actually. It could have been an erector set Allen wrench. Don't know. Again, I haven't seen those in a while. But yeah, they're harder to clean because they're stickier. They sometimes take a few washes of the wash process. It all depends. Oh, something happened here. I don't know if they tried gluing it. It's really stuck in there. It's coming out. There we go. It just was really tight, I guess. My dog didn't necessarily appreciate that smell. He had to get up and move. Did I say smells? That sound. That's better than I tell you. My brain doesn't work sometimes. Well, okay, my brain works. Maybe it's the communication and everything else that doesn't. But, you know, if anything, when you're buying in bulk, you can't guarantee exactly where everything comes from. Some of it might be dirty and filthy. Other portions of the box or bag that you get might be perfectly fine, and in very good condition. So this almost looks like a tile, a 1x2 tile, and it is Lego, but based upon that center ridge and the fact that it sticks out slightly, you might not be able to see it very well, but you know, you can hear my nail catching it. It's broke off of something else. This is not the whole piece, so this will get thrown away, as I likely won't be able to find the other, whatever they went to the other side of this and glue it. This would almost be fixable if you can find whatever it went to and if it's worth it, but I doubt I will be able to find it. So in the same bag, we are getting there with this bag. We are almost probably 15 or 20 handfuls maybe away from completion, based upon my estimates. It might be a little more. There's another non-Lego branded studded brick. Right, here we go again with broken clip. Let's see it from the side. We're missing the upper half of that clip. Obviously, if you have somebody who, you know, if they're children, they may try to take good care of their bricks, but they might have siblings who get to them who do not, or pets, you know. Interesting. This whole thing is fake. I think I just put 2 pieces in there as well, and I have no idea where they went. Maybe if I reviewed the footage, I could see where they bounced at, but at this point, those 2 pieces, which I know those 2 pieces, will get caught in the cleaning process. But this whole piece, look how closely it mimics the Lego, though. This double blocked, or 2x1 piece with 2 Technic holes on the inside, very, very closely mimics, you know, one of the more advanced pieces and one of the more recent pieces that Lego has released. As, trust me, when I was growing up, this piece didn't exist. So yeah, yeah, all of this Just imitation. So it goes to Goodwill. Because if you, I mean, again, if it doesn't bother you, keep it. Don't sort it out. Don't filter it out. Keep it. It's still useful. It still functions. But because I'm trying to potentially sell these at a, you know, after cleaning them and organizing them and guaranteeing there aren't any, that light is pretty bad, chewed up. You know, it's 100% Lego. It just is worth more. It's just worth more overall. So that is why I stick to that. Also, again, I am a purist when it comes to these, so I don't appreciate anyone who tries to mimic exact designs of others. Again, no branded stud. And I'll stop saying that. It is my opinion, and I'm trying not to make this channel at all about opinions, or, you know, or if anything, I try to list both sides of an argument or opinions, but not trying to counter anyone who may think differently. That is not the purpose of this channel. I am not going to argue with anyone. Badly, you know, this Technic pin is not going to be useful because it's been deformed. Yeah, some more connects pieces. Very badly damaged 1x2 plate. Trash. Huh. Somebody really squished that grill. And that's going to be trash. Yeah, almost. You see, this Technic piece has also been deformed. I don't know if you can tell or not from the pictures, but you can kind of see that's one side of that semicircle is tighter than the other. Lego piece with some color added onto it, but hopefully that comes off in cleaning. That is not Lego. I don't even think it's a toy, so I'm going to go ahead and throw it in the trash pile. That's connects. Piece of bead. This one's pretty badly marked up, but it is still functional. This wheel's pretty badly deformed on the outside. That's going to make, oh yeah, that's going to make getting the rubber on and off difficult, or too easy, one or the other. So we're gonna throw that wheel away. Deformed pin on the bottom of a 2x2 plate. The pin's actually part of the plate in this particular design, usually used as a turntable, but with the way that pin is, it's not going to do anything. Definitely starting to get a lot more dirt and smaller hairs and things along that nature at the bottom of this bag. Fuzz at the bottom of this bag. This was definitely a dirtier bag. I'm actually kind of getting a little impatient right now, trying and wanting to reach the end of it, just because of I am almost certain this is not a Lego piece. If I get a Technic pin, that looks okay. Yep, yeah, it doesn't stick in there, so that's not Lego. Not a Lego wheel. Not saying all Lego wheels have to obviously go into a pin, but it's that would have been what the function of that hole would have been for if it had been a Lego. So this is not Lego. Not only does it not have the shaped or the logo on the pin on the studs, it is not shaped like a Lego would be, or the underside. Underside looks a little odd as well. You know, it just lost a light in there, a little white trans clear, what I call light, but just a little trans clear stud. Hopefully it was okay. Otherwise, I'll find it in the wash. Because I do look at all the pieces again in the wash for the most part, as much as I can. You'll see that wash cycle here at some point. Color of yellow on that arm is a little off, but it does look like the right curvature and angle at the bottom of the arm. If you can see that, that's about right for a Lego piece. So I'm going to think that this is a Lego arm. Even though the color might be slightly different, it's possible that there was just a little bit of green on that particular character, because it just wasn't yellow enough. This connects piece. No branded studs. Broken clip again. So I'll take that, put that in the trash pile, but save the hydrant portion. I don't always remember the exact names of, yeah, I do see the Lego logo on that one. I don't always remember the exact names of pieces as defined by Bricklink or some of the other, you know, sites, things along that nature. But I try to go along with them. It'll help you identify them if you're looking to do so. But I will get better with that over time. Door's pretty bad shape. The handle can't, you know, usually the handle has a little bit of sticking out. You'll be able to get your nail underneath of it to be able to open it, and I can't even do that with this door. So I'm going to say this door's trash. It's, something's in there. Looks like hot glue. Let's see if we can get it out, but it almost looks like the piece has been deformed too. Might not even be a point. Oh, look at that. Managed to get the hot glue pretty much completely out, and it's still usable. Excellent. Somebody definitely got white out on a number of pieces in this bag. Again, another identifier to how you know some of these pieces definitely came together, right? I mean, the coincidence of finding somebody who did that to multiple pieces in multiple households is quite rare, I would think. This piece is fun. Oh, here we go. No branded studs. Hey, look, another hot glued piece, similar in color to the ones we very started out with on this very first, on the first video on this box and bag. I'm gonna have to put these down in order to be able to get a better grip on this. This one's proven to be a little bit more difficult. I don't know if it dried differently or... Oh, it's coming off. So again, we just try to get the bulk of it off, and then the wash process should loosen most of the rest of the glue to come off during that. The soak process, I should say. There's a process during the cleaning process where I soak the Legos for at least a day. And you'd be impressed. It actually doesn't affect stickers all that much, as long as it can't get under the sticker and the sticker isn't already coming off because it wasn't put on right to begin with. Yeah, who's going to use that sword, right? All completely chewed on one end and bent. There's no repairing that sword. That sword's going in the garbage. But anyway, yeah, I do a soak on the Legos before they get cleaned by hand. And that soaking process helps to usually get rid of... I don't think this is a Lego. Oh, it is. I could see the logo in the upper over here on this side. Goodness, the only reason I said it wasn't, and that it might be because there's some glue or something in there, is that there is something in that stud right there. And usually you're not. All 4 studs are supposed to be hollow, and there is something in this third one right here. And maybe that is the result of something that broke off in there or some glue. We'll figure it out later. But yeah, they get soaked during the cleaning process, and it helps to remove any, it helps with during the removal process of removing any ick. Sticky, especially sticky items. And it really helps with the smoker tar on the outside of Legos. I can't tell if that's a Lego or not. Oh, there's writing inside. No Lego though. I do not think this is a Lego. I would be able to tell if I can... I mean, this isn't a pin size hole. This is going to be... let's see if I can find a piece in here that has that end on it. This is going to be like some of the smaller wheel connections. Let's see if we can find a piece that exists in here. Oh, here we go. So, you'd say, it would fit something like this with a resistance snap, and it does not. It slides right in and out of there. So this is likely not, especially since it doesn't even fit a bar. Like I said, it doesn't fit a Technic piece. So this is not a Lego. They wouldn't design something typically, as far as I know. I could be wrong, but from my experience. Here we go with another fairly damaged. This one's not as bad deformative wise. There's 2 marks, but this one will probably still hold a wheel. And you almost can't even tell from the outside, which is what anyone would be seeing if they used it. Very badly deformed stud piece, single stud piece. So it's going in the garbage. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to salvage that sticker. Looks like there's some hot glue or super glue even on this one. If that's the case, definitely not going to come off. We'll try, But I have a feeling this piece may end up getting thrown away in the end. So much fuzz. This is pretty badly damaged 1x2. I'm not going to keep this one. Connects. More connects. Broken piece of plastic. Non-Lego. And connects. This wheel, it is a Lego piece, but it is deformed pretty badly, crushed a little bit on that side. You can kind of see it. So we're not going to keep this piece. That's going to get thrown away. This is not a Lego, and I'm not going to put it in the toy box. So that'll be donated to Goodwill, just because it doesn't look like it's an actual toy or functioning toy. So trash it goes. Deformed Technic pin. As you've probably noticed by now, we haven't found a single put together minifigure inside of these two boxes, and I'm almost done with this second bag. Again, it's because the Goodwill stores have started to realize the value of those minifigures. I mean, that is a reason why a lot of people do what I'm doing, is to find minifigures and either keep them for themselves for their collection because they're trying to find them all. I am not one of those people because, again, I don't care about minifigures as much, only if they're to complete a set. That's the only thing I care about them for. Really bad Technic pin piece. But other people will outright just search for those, and then, you know, they filter those out, and then they put the Legos they buy back into circulation. They're not going to go as far as I do with regards to cleaning them and filtering out broken pieces, because they only take what they want out of there and then put the rest back in circulation. And so sometimes, you know, I'm not going to blame Goodwill for doing this all the time, because certainly they could be redonated back from other people who have already segregated those minifigures out. But based upon, oh man, that one's got pieces missing out of it. Based upon, and this is a very bad 1x1 plate piece. Based upon what I've seen the Goodwill selling, you can tell that they're doing it though, because they're selling minifigures separately. And that right there, and you could just see the extraordinary values that those go for. So you know, it's just, I'm not gonna blame them for trying to make money, I guess. Oh, that red piece head, there we go. No studs, or no branded studs, so not a Lego. So I get it, but I went ahead and bought these anyway, knowing that this particular Goodwill likely followed that trait, and that's because I'm not after minifigures per se. Yes, if I have them and they belong to a set, I'll keep them for that reason, or if I have a bunch of them, you know, I'll try selling them online. But that is not my goal here. Interesting, an orange fish. Usually you find those in a silver color. Goodness, some of these are just in such bad shape. Sticky. Teeth marks. There's another, you know, the haha plate sticker we just saw. Although this 1x2 tile is not a bad shape, as bad of a shape as the last one. This one might be salvageable. Damaged pin again. Somebody's not taking good care of their pins. Goodness, that's another wheel. Similar to the other one with the collapsed side. This one's not as damaged though, so I'll probably keep it for now. We'll see what the future brings for that. This almost looked like it would come apart, but it doesn't. It is a Lego piece though. Somebody drew on the side of this one. That marker should actually come off in the cleaning process, and we'll get to that at some point in the future, but you'll be able to see that. This 1x2 plate is too badly damaged for use. And I almost thought that these were not Lego pieces here. I almost have thought in the last batch that I got of Legos that these were actually like battleship pins. Just the wrong color, of course. But I looked it up on BrickLink, and they are for sure they're used for candles and things along that nature in some Legos and other things. But that is a Lego piece. Bad Technic pin. We had a Lego branded light on a non-Lego branded turn, or can't even remember the name of these type of bricks, but yeah, so that's going in there. I do not think that's a Lego. Let's see if we can get a closer look at the underside of this foot. Yep, only branded with numbers. The color, the color and the look-throughness of that leg just doesn't feel right. No, and because it's just a partial piece and not the full toy, I usually just chuck this into the trash pile as well. Because it's not really useful as it is. Wow. Somebody has really been having at these Technic pins with their teeth or something. Maybe a little puppy got to some of the Legos in the house. That's definitely not reusable. This bag has definitely been more disappointing than the first one, but again, not a lost cause. No brand on the stud. Normally, the other thing that's nice is if you do find consistency in a bag or in a box that you open another bead, things become faster or slower depending upon what you find. And by that I mean, obviously I found so many Technic pins so far with teeth marks on them and bent ends that I now have to take a closer look at every single Technic pin that I'm now pulling out. I didn't start out that way. It wasn't until a pattern was established that now I'm going, so there may be more that I've already put in that will have damaged ends to them that I will catch in the clean process. But unfortunately, that does slow down this process for me now. I mean, you can look, so you can see how that was damaged as well. Because otherwise, I could fly through these smaller pieces a lot quicker. If I can see that I'm getting a lot of really good pieces in good quality condition, that is not going to stick to anything. I can fly through some of these inspections of these filtration portion of my process. Unfortunately, it's not always that easy. Let's hope our next one, that piece is definitely not good. Let's hope our next one is not as difficult as this one was. Because I will admit, if it wasn't for what I'm doing now and attempting to do now with YouTube, in putting this out on YouTube for your entertainment, benefit, learning, whatever you want to, whatever you're here for, I do tend to take breaks. There's a piece of a pin broken off. You get discouraged, or you just get tired of it. It's a broken Lego. So I'll go in the trash. You get tired of having to deal with the same thing over and over, because it makes things more difficult. And then there are times where nope, that one hit the floor. There we go. Then there's times where it's easy, That's sort of how life is, right? Things are easy, you fly through it. Things become more difficult, you're slow. When you slow down. Because if everything in life was easy, everyone would be doing it, right? Oh, look at the skewed wheels on this. They're supposed to be straight across from one another. And you can tell from that angle, they are not. So this is gonna go in the trash. Because to straighten that would weaken it more. The stress marks were there pretty bad. Here's a non-Lego branded piece. The stress marks were there. To try to straighten it would cause the stress marks to get worse, and it wouldn't last any form of play if anyone was actually using it, and might not last very long in a model even. So this one, I might be able to salvage this one actually, because it's not completely broken off. It wasn't pinched so tight that it, at the base. So as you can see, I've already kind of spread it out a little more as it is. So I may go ahead and try to spread this a little bit more. Like right there, that looks almost perfect. That's the piece is still in a little sad shape, but it might be usable, so we'll keep that one. I try not to throw things away if I don't have to. Feel like I don't have to. Non-branded Lego piece, or non-Lego piece. So this one's in sad shape, that one's okay. Pieces are getting tinier. That's any clue to you watching, it's that we are getting very near the end of the bag. What was in that box. Closer to the bottom, there's another hair. Closer to the bottom you get of anything Lego related, that includes cleaning, unfortunately, the smaller the pieces get, because like anything, they settle. And the smallest pieces usually end up in the bottom over time. Oh my word. That's horrible. I might not be able to get this piece. Oh, it goes this way. Yeah, I might not be able to get this other piece off, because look at how much expanded on that end. I might have to use a pair of pliers to re-squish that side down to be able to get this round gray piece off, because the round gray piece is still usable, but the blue Technic pin is not. So I'm gonna put that to the side right now. I'll come back to that. I might have to get a set of pliers. This 1x1 stud, horrible. Again, deformed pin. I wish I didn't have to keep checking those, but unfortunately with this particular bag, it looks like I'm going to. That's a pretty sad shaped tile. See, these look in good condition. They were part of a build. You can tell the edges are all straight and sharp, not rounded. The studs are all in good condition. So if this was the same person, but I doubt it, if it was the same person, then they've were obviously getting better about taking care of things as they got older, but I doubt it. I have a feeling that was something from somebody else mixed in with this batch. We won't talk about that type of hair. You'll get those too, unfortunately. It is what it is. Remember my admonition about washing your hands when you're done. Very important. Some of you may be asking why I'm not using gloves. Well, it is much easier to grab smaller pieces with your hands and fingers. I'm not even going to describe why I'm throwing some things away anymore. I think you can see, hopefully, for yourselves. But yeah, it's one of those things where not let go. Where it's harder to grab when you have gloves on, grab smaller pieces and maintain control of them. It's hard enough even with my hand the way it is, but it's definitely harder with gloves on. So, never run into any issues though. That piece is bad. It's actually been deformed slightly. Off axis, off the center. Even somebody kind of bent that. Off tilt. That's kind of what I was looking to say, but again, my brain. Well, looks like I'm going to find a sharp object in here. That's fun. Not the type of sharp object I have to necessarily be fully concerned about. I'll even show. I might as well pick it out and show it to you. Let's see. We've got ourselves a pin. I've found bobby pins in here before, and safety pins and things like that. You know, you just have to be careful. But what's nice is they're usually at the bottom, and you know, most of the times because they're in a mix with Legos, they're easy to spot. So this will just get trashed. But you do have to sometimes be concerned about what you're putting your hand into. Hence why maybe gloves would be a good idea, but I'm still sticking with non-gloves hand. Goodness, crushed pins. I think I just dropped that little assembly into the box. I'll get it in cleaning. No, that's an LP branded. I don't know if you could see that on the, it has an L and a P on the top. There's another bead. I'm finding a lot of those in this bag. Bunches of little fuzzies or hairs. This pin is, or this one by one stud is not usable. Getting very close to the bottom. Connects piece. I mean, we are at the bottom, but we're getting very close to the end of this bag. Very close. Branded studded brick, so really. It's a pretty bad shape 1x4 tile. Also another bad shape 1x2 tile. Another 1x2 plate that is bad shape. Seems like the further into this we get, the worse the pieces are. At least the small pieces. Not saying I've been impressed with the output of the large pieces either. Crushed Technic pin. Piece of string. Don't know what that is. Looks like a clip of some sort. Another bad pin. Non-branded brick. Crushed grill. That's like the third one in this bag. I really think that some pet, or hopefully not a young child because they can choke on these, had been chewing on these. I mean, it is possible they were crushed by in a physical nature outside of within a mouth, but that would almost have to be done on purpose with a tool. Yeah, that's garbage. Definitely thinking they had a pet. So I think that's what these little hairs are. I think they're a little dog, or big dog. Maybe it was a puppy at the time. Another pretty bad shape 1x2. Pretty bad shape trans orange 1x1 stud. Another LP marked brick. Bad 1x2 plate. Crushed pin. Crushed pin. Most of the times at this point, in bags like these, I usually find, this is a crushed pin, though. I'm going to have to get that out of there and throw that pin away, but the black piece is still good. Most times at this point, I find more non-Legos within a bag versus bad Legos, like actual Legos that are non-branded Lego piece, or, you know, brick. But this one has been an exception. I have more pieces to throw away than I think I've added to the Goodwill box, which to me is insane. I don't remember that happening in the other ones I've done. Usually it's the other way around. Even if I get a lot of bad pieces in a box, I'll have more other items to donate to Goodwill because, you know, usually there just aren't that many. This box has been an exception, especially for poor Technic pins. They have not survived well from whoever this came from. Some form of another bead. And if you're out there and watching this, and that was you, take better care of your bricks. That's what I have to say. Yeah, I'll never find you. There's another crushed grill. Chances of them finding this channel are slim to none. 1 and 2. That crushed a whole one of these. And look at that. It's not even close. It had to have been chewed on. I'm starting to get a little food or something crackery. So that's gonna get into the trash pile over here. So I don't want that falling into what I've gotta clean as much as possible. So we're gonna remove this pin out of here, put that in there, but throw away the pin. Excuse me, I cracked my back. It's starting to get to the point where I'm gonna have to take a break. Mostly because this bag is taking forever. Compared to our last one, I'm almost certain. Still functional, although in poor shape, almost to the point where I'd throw it away. This says marble. What is this? I know it's definitely not a Lego piece though. Not branded anywhere. Center portion isn't, color isn't right. Looks like almost broke off of something. There. I don't know if that's the case. I'll throw it in the trash. I'm not gonna give the Goodwill box something I feel is broken. From there. Another little hair. Crushed pin. These two pieces are in excellent condition. Look at those, shiny on the sides, no bite marks, no nothing. I don't think they came from the same place. Oh goodness, hair is just garbage and everything's just falling. Crushed pin, broken pin, completely chewed pin, bead, some sort of hanging hook. Like I said, you never know what you'll find sometimes. Very badly damaged 1x1 plate. That is a broken piece off of a Lego. I recognize that as the curved portion of a wheel well. Non-Lego branded brick. Here's the other half of probably a broken Technic piece that I almost dropped into my bin of accepted pieces. Another crushed. But like I said, I'll probably find more in the cleaning process. So I wasn't looking for that immediately. And you'll find that when your searches too. You'll find that something like when you start establishing patterns, or realize that there's non-Lego branded bricks in your bag that you're trying to sort out, or box that you're trying to sort out. You weren't looking for those immediately, but then you'll remember, oh, that piece. I remember a piece that I looked at. There's something in this guy's foot. Looked the exact same way, and I bet I missed it. Some sort of foam or something. Oh, that's not foam, that's sand. Beach sand or sandbox sand. Let's see if I can get it to focus in on that. Yeah, that's beach sand. So that'll come out in the wash. I'm not gonna get it all out here on this. I mean, you can see it's coming out, but the screwdriver's not gonna get it all. Water will though, for sure. So we'll drop that leg in there, throw that sand to the side into the trash pile, and we'll get the rest of that sand out of that piece later. Now here was a almost good piece connected to a really bad piece, so we're gonna keep the good piece, throw away the bad piece. So we're gonna start pulling this stuff out one by one now, because we're down to less than two handfuls maybe. I'm trying to limit the amount of hairs and fuzz and everything else and dirt that I'm pulling out with this bag by pulling it out in handfuls. So by pulling them out one by one, I'm hoping that I will keep most of that in the bag now. So there's a bead. It's a really bad 2x2 tile, pretty bad condition. Throw that away. Or at least pull them out in smaller groups. That one's bad shape. So that I can identify the fuzzes and hairs and everything else. So pretty much everything I grabbed there was fuzz, except for the one Lego piece. We're almost to the bottom, or finished with this bag. Yay. This bag has been a pain. They're both trash there. This one's got a broken clip, and the other one's bad form, deformed pretty badly. How many times can I say bad, huh? If you're using this as a drinking game video, and you're going off of bad, you probably shouldn't do that or drive for sure. So this is an end to one of those antennas, and it looks in a decent shape, so we'll keep that. Hand, that's gonna go in that box. There's a next piece, I believe. Well, it's almost surprising to find an in-shape pin in this bag, right? How many bad ones we'd find. Here we go with a broken pin. I really hope that this camera has been focusing well enough for you all on these small pieces, as I know it's real hard, one, because they're small to begin with, and two, I at least want to get some clarity and not be out of view. You know, my last video, I reviewed some portions of it, and I realized that a good portion of it was either the camera refocusing, or I had my hand with the parts and pieces out of view in some aspects of it. Pins deformed, and I'm hoping that that gets better over time. Otherwise, this will be a short-lived channel, won't it? Might already be a short-lived channel to begin with, but we'll see. Deformed pin. Probably gonna end up throwing the trash pile into this bag when I'm finished. That's basically what this bag's going to go. Oh my goodness. Look at that flattened pin. This one is almost not even recognizable as a stud piece. Very badly deformed eye. Circular 1x1 tile. It has an eye on it. have maybe 10 more pieces in there, I think. We will be done with this bag, this horrible bag. At least horrible compared to the last bag. Another crushed Technic end. I don't know what they call them, but they usually help keep things from sliding off Technic axles. And that's it. We're done. See? Nothing more. So we're gonna see how much trash pieces I ended up pulling out, moving the. Look at that. Look at all that. Fuzz and garbage and sand, glue, and broken pieces. Oh, don't forget the pin. What else did we find surprising in this one today? Screw. Yep, all that down there. It's garbage. I mean, it's not a lot, obviously, compared to the whole bag, but it's still a decent amount for a single bag. So I will hold on to that as my trash bag now. I still have my check bricklink pile I still have to do. I can show you that quickly. So you can see what size that is. Oh, and then I have the one piece that I've still got to pop out from the deform, but this is my check bricklink pile. I mean, I know this is the watch. This is a watch end. But if I find all the pieces to it, then maybe it's useful. Otherwise, not really. But this would be the check bricklink pile. All right, well, thank you all for joining, and I hope you endured the pain of this bag as much as I did. Not really, I'm kidding. Hopefully you've at least enjoyed the commentary and everything else that's been going on outside of that. But again, hopefully you've learned some things, and we'll move on to the next box next time. Thank you. Bye.